Now, last episode, I created a massive factory, and I also decided to build out a little bit of a bypass that you see behind me. So now that I have dirt solved, I think I should make the process of making more factories a whole lot easier on myself. See, as I was building this factory, I was running into several different problems. For example, I needed to run back and forth between my actual storage truck and the facility I was working on. And while this is okay, and I was crafting all of the components as I was needing them, it is a little bit tedious to jump back and forth between the mall, here, and, well, wherever I'm at building infrastructure. And last episode, Stam showed me his beautiful little truck, and I absolutely love it. It's cute, it's adorable. It reminds me of like an F100, which is a truck I really, really want when I'm a little bit older, maybe, as like a project vehicle. That's something that's a little personal, but still. I would like to come up with my own storage truck design and actually organize all of my storage. And when I say storage, I mean toolboxes. So yeah, we're gonna be making a toolbox truck and categorizing all of our toolboxes. Now, this might not seem like it's amazing or anything like that, but I promise you by the end of this episode, you're going to understand how powerful toolboxes can actually be, especially in a pack like this, where we actually have the reach distance for the toolboxes, which by default is only 8. We have it increased to at least 32 as of right now. You're going to be able to see how powerful they can get whenever we have this range unlocked. I mean, it seriously has to be one of the most slept on features in the Create mod. Now let's first start by designing our actual truck. So I'm going to lay down my current truck, and I actually have a couple of these, but I'm going to place this down. This is our primary storage, and I'm actually on the little community area where we have a nice little road built here, and I think designing it right here is going to be pretty nice. So I am going to need my primary storage truck. Now I want to still have a little bit of normal storage, so I kind of want to copy the same interface that we have here and give myself a little bit of vault storage just for bits and bobs. You know, things and doohickeys? Tidbits? I mean, you get it. And so I'm thinking to start this truck out, what I can do is, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Give myself a little bit of platform. We might actually shrink this up, give or take. But I do need to get a vault. Now, the front face itself is actually going to contain the cart assembler. So I guess first things first, we place that down and get our cart assembler up and running. Now for the vault itself, which the storage is going to reside on, we'll go ahead and get this up and running here. And I'm still debating. I think I might want to go just 2 deep because I want this to be a flatbed truck because we are going to put some storage on the back. So the whole thing is not going to be one massive vault storage. But if you remember how I've set this up, it's honestly become muscle memory at this point. I'm going to need 2 chutes. So we have a chute here and a chute here. The packager, this is pulling items out and going into this storage. So we need to make sure we click onto the barrel. And this one pulls out of the barrel. So we click on the barrel and then we click on to the actual vault that sends items into the vault. And then we need a stock link and we need our stock ticker linked to the link. Just like so, blaze on the front so we can access it. And then of course, don't forget, we need a lever here too, powered on, to make sure we send all of the contents of the input barrel. And then there we go. We now have the basis of a vault access machine. And I still honestly feel like this setup that I still think is weird that I designed this thing. Yeah, this setup feels so meta still. I don't know if I've seen anyone else design a similar solution to this that is as compact and easy to set up early game as this one. I mean, really, when there is only so many ways of doing things, I mean, this is definitely the meta. Oh, and I just realized the actual cart assembler is going to need to come forward one. And we'll go ahead and just move that here. So there's the cart assembler, which means I took the block from the back and I just moved it to the front here so we have something to connect to. Because I do want a stone cutter to go in front of this, just like our normal truck. It is a nice utility to have here, and it also has a moving part, which looks really nice. But you know what? It does give me that like Final Destination vibe. If you've ever seen that, there was a scene, oh gosh, it was awful, with like a fan from an engine. Yeah, it gives me those vibes. Now for the front this time, I'm thinking we could use the similar thing that we were doing with our train, which I think looks really nice, having this sort of front bumper by using girders and placing the shafts in them. This will give me space for, like, for example, an anvil, which I think would fit really nice there, and a crafting table is almost universally needed. And to make this look nice and not just look like a couple of crafting tables and an anvil, we can cover them just like this with some brass. And so there is the front of the truck, and it is kind of going to give off some really cool semi vibes here in a second. So I'm thinking this is going to be a flatbed, but it's going to look like a kind of sporty semi. And for the wheel placement, I'm thinking right up front here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe double up back here, giving ourselves a nice trailer. Like I said, this still might be too long. We might have to trim it off. We'll just see whenever we get the bed on the back. Now, I still like the idea of kind of having like wheel wells that look like this. So on the back all the way around, we cover that, and we're already getting that bed. And yeah, I definitely think I'm going to trim off the back here a little bit, and we'll work on this in a second. Okay, maybe I'll add this back here. That's starting to look a little bit better. Can't forget the buttons for the wheels. I really wish we had like actual create wheels. I'm sure it does exist in some add-on somewhere. There's just so many add-ons. Now we're definitely getting there. I think to make it look a little bit sportier, let's definitely add a spoiler, because yeah, that totally works on semis. I think I'm just gonna leave it flat like that, as it does make it a little easier to glue together, and we don't have to worry about how tall this is. Now the back of this thing is actually kind of important because we can only fit 8 toolboxes on here, and that's because of this rotational menu. This rotational menu only gives you access to 8 individual toolboxes. So that's kind of our limitation here. So I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4 toolboxes on the back here, but I kind of want it raised up. So let's see, we can do some encased chain drives maybe back here. Just like that. I think that would look fine. This is where the toolboxes are going to set. And if I place them like this, let's see. I mean, that looks fine. Now I need to figure out what I'm going to put in the middle. And I was thinking I could run like a girder down the middle here. And much like our train, we might be able to get some very interesting decorations with these chutes. And what I could do is do this. Oh, and the toolboxes like fit perfectly underneath there. Just do the same to the other side and make sure to connect all of these up on the bottom. This is kind of cool. It almost looks like this is carrying the the ventilation system from our train, for example. I just got to rotate, looks like these one at a time. There's that one, and perfect. Now, when it comes to accessing these and inserting products, like for example, when we have all of our toolboxes assigned and set up, we're going to want a way to send items potentially into them. So I'm thinking an item storage interface on this side and the other side, just in case. But now that I think about it, this is actually going to run into a contraption problem. That's right. It's going to try and fill this vault, possibly before it tries to fill these. So having this vault here makes this really difficult to have auto refilling. And that's because contraptions are pretty dumb when it comes to what storage is what, as it's all considered one storage. But you know what? I'm still going to leave it here for right now, but yeah, this will be something that I might have to figure out in the future. Okay, so at least I have this. I want to go ahead and get some copycat panels, I think, on here like so. Even on the back, I want some copycat panels. And then we're going to work on the back here in a second, but yeah, this section, we'll place some more copycat panels, just trying to thicken this up a little bit. And this will probably just be weathered, matching the frame. Okay, so on the back, let's go ahead and add a bumper. And I'm going to do the whole train thing, matching that same train sort of style. There we go. And I'm going to try something different here with our copycat steps. So I think if I get this to rotate differently, there we go. We can put some brake lights on here, and these redstone lamps are pretty cool because you can place them in and you can also toggle them on. I might actually need to get another one, but yeah, if you right click another redstone lamp on here, you can see it toggles it on. I love how he just called it a redstone lamp. It's a rose quartz lamp. It's literally made out of rose quartz. Still pretty cool though that you can like place them in and toggle them on like that. And then for the back and front, I'll use some andesite bars. Maybe I can get this placed in. Yes, where it looks like it is being reinforced here. And you know what? To make this look like it's connected, I'm gonna go ahead and add a shaft down the middle here. There we go. Makes it look a little bit more filled in. Now, honestly, I think this thing looks kind of cool. I added another copycat up onto the top. And this on the back almost looks like a farm hopper. I mean, honestly, it looks exactly like a hopper. All right, so now that this is done, time for the hard part. That is setting up all of the individual toolboxes. And those toolboxes are going to have different categories of items. They're also going to need to be renamed. And we've got to do this for 8 individual toolboxes. And I can tell you now, 8 is still not enough. Now, my recommendation for this is to set categories and have yourself some different colored toolboxes and make sure you have a color for each individual category. And when it comes to coloring the toolboxes, unfortunately, if you are colorblind, yeah, this is going to be really tough, honestly, for you to be able to just see the differences in these colors, especially when they're in your inventory. This is very, very challenging. It's really hard to tell like the difference between these 3 different shades from red all the way to yellow, as they are very similar. And I mean, look how similar purple and blue are. I mean, this is really tough. And that's why naming these are going to be really important. But first, we should probably get a set of items and start to work our way through these categories. Now, of course, this works differently for everybody, and everybody's going to want their own different set of items inside of each of their toolboxes. But I'm going to try my best to categorize each of these and make a really nice foundation for you to sort of work off of. And let's let our first category be rotation. So we can take this over here and I can call this rotation. And now that I have my rotation in place, we can place this down and it actually retains its name. And it says it up in the top. It's also going to say it in our rotational menu here. You can see right here is the rotation box. Now inside of this, there's going to be a few items that I will deem necessary for the rotation here. So shafts, for one, you can place them in and it should lock. Even if you run out, you notice it still holds that there is a shaft in that position. And then on the opposite side, we'll put belts. On the left side, we'll have gearboxes. On the right, we'll have vertical gearboxes. It is good to have both because this is super helpful for just cleaning your inventory up. We'll put gear shifts on this side, encased chain drives on this side, and then we can have cogs. Actually, let's go ahead and remove this. By the way, to remove, you can just right click. So just like that. We'll put the large cogs on the right and the cogs on the left, encased chain drives on the left, and the gear shift on the right. This will make it pretty easy. That way, when we're in this menu by holding Alt, we can click and you can see it selects the item and we now have 32 inside of our inventory now, and it will restock from this area. When we're done, the power of this is you simply click this return items button and it takes all of the items that you had out and literally stores it back into the toolbox. So handy. But this is the rotation box for me. Now my next toolbox is going to be moving things. Yes, the box that allows us to move different items. Moving things. That's exactly what this is going to be called. And so inside of my moving things box, we're going to have a few different tools. For example, we can put a hopper in here. We have a weighted ejector. We can also have andesite funnels and tunnels. So we have funnels, brass. We have andesite tunnels here, brass. Then we're also going to have chutes and smart chutes. And this is quite a few things that I find useful when building different contraptions, especially having these hoppers in here. It's surprising how many times I've seen things being built and hoppers entirely forgotten about. Just because they're not create doesn't mean they're not useful. Now, the next one on the list is literally going to be processing. All of the individual components that help with processing different materials. For example, we have ourselves a millstone. We have different mixers. We have the mechanical press. We can put the basin and we can also put the depot over here. Those are all helpful in these things. The millstone, the crushing wheels, and we have fans, deployers, mixers. We can put that over on this side. And then the deployer, for example, on the bottom. So all of these things are very helpful for processing. And I may be only putting one in for right now, but I can always request some out of my system and literally just hold down Alt and just store all after I have it in my inventory. Oh, it's going to be so nice. Now, of course, the red toolbox, I mean, you guessed it. This is literally going to be the redstone box. So redstone. And this is going to contain actually a bunch of the vanilla redstone because we are going to have another toolbox that is going to be based on create redstone components. And inside of the redstone, we of course is going to have redstone dust, redstone blocks. We're going to also have some redstone torches. Let's see, we can do a dispenser. We're going to need some observers, some levers, and then I like to have like repeaters and also redstone comparators all in here. These are just some basic components that I use a lot. Now for my orange toolbox, I think fluids. Yeah, this is just going to be something that handles fluids. So we're going to have all of the different create fluid containers. And that's going to include all of the basics. For example, a smart filter, pipes. We can also have a mechanical pump in here, a valve. We can put, let's see, the item drain on the bottom, a spout. And let's actually move the valve. We'll put that down here. And we can have the tank, and then on the other side, the valve handle. All of that looks pretty good. This is all of the individual stuff that we can use with fluids. Now, my beloved even more redstone, but this one is going to be create redstone. Just like so. And it's going to contain a few items. So I am busy right now. Let's go ahead and put smart observers in here, threshold switch, the new and my beloved pulse timer. I love it. The redstone links, analog levers, pulse repeater and pulse extender, and then of course a clutch to be able to stop contraptions or really anything. Oh, I feel much better now. And we're almost getting through the whole list. This one is going to be art of stress. And this is just going to be a few things that we can use to generate stress, but also it's going to contain some casings because I think these are very, very useful to have in here as well. So we're going to have water wheels, large water wheels, and also going to throw in the sticky mechanical piston, which is insanely useful, and then also the extension pole for those pistons. And yeah, this is a pretty good amount of items. It's not like I'm going to be throwing in all of the ingredients that allow me to build a steam engine or anything like that. This is just for simply rotating belts and small things. And then last but not least, we have the box that is going to be my favorite, storage. And I need some experience. There we go. That's more like it. Now, inside of the storage is going to contain all of the items you see here. It's going to contain some frog boards, just some easily accessible things that we use quite a lot. So we are going to have barrels. We're going to have chests. We're going to have vaults. We're going to have the stock links and some packagers in here. Might as well also have some chain conveyors and frog ports and some chains to be able to control all of this. And so with that, I have now developed an entire category system that allows me to have easy access to some of the most used things in Create. So I'm going to take these boxes and then get them all placed up. Just like so. And I tell you what, with all of these on here, this is starting to look really, really cool. I mean, this filled out perfectly. But now I've got to get everything glued together. Now, don't look too long at it all glued together because it is kind of wonky with all of the glue, but let's go ahead and get that placed in. Grab ourselves a lever. Actually, I think I have a lever. Yeah, just on me. And if I did this correctly, we should be able to pick the whole thing up. There we go. Perfect. Wait, apparently anvils can't be placed on here as much as I wanted it. Darn. So you know what? Jukebox it is. That's gonna be nice and fitting there. But now the moment you've probably been waiting for, me to pick the whole thing up and carry it along, and there we go. We now have ourselves a portable toolbox truck. Ah, yes, I'm ready to come by and repair any server mate's troubles. I'm your one-stop on-the-go mechanic. And there's only one name I can think of that is going to work perfect for this. The tool mule. Because that's exactly what this darn thing is. All of my tools for creation and all of Create stored inside of this tool mule. I almost forgot to mention this, but yes, this tool truck will be available on my Discord and it will be in the schematics channel. So definitely be sure to check that out. Now, don't ask me how I got this truck inside of my factory. I opened one of the windows apparently, but I do want to start like kind of loading this up as much as possible. For example, I could load more cogs into this, and this is how easy this is going to be to do this. I put the item in my inventory, I hold down Alt, and I hit return items to nearby toolboxes, and you notice it just took all of those out. And I think these can hold like 256 of the items that are stored inside, so it is quite a lot. But now, like I was saying earlier, creating an auto loader sort of setup here, I don't think that it's going to work the way that I was originally envisioning, simply because I added this storage here. Now, if I remove the storage and I don't give myself any access to any items, then it could potentially work. The only problem then that I will face is figuring out how do I create a loading setup. Like how do I add this to, for example, the mall here. This is where things can become a little bit more complicated. I know that you can use the portable interface to access this thing's storage, but we'll be limited to how many sides are on here, and we would have to have frog ports set up, basically doing the same logistical pulling setup that we're doing over here. For example, where we have a few of these on here, we can only fit 4 per side. So we wouldn't be able to honestly fit all of them on here unless we had like maybe multiple interfaces on the truck. And I couldn't see using like a funnel or anything like that unless we made a list filter for multiple funnels that basically was all of the items. But if one of these items ended up filling up, you still end up with an issue of the prior stock or something else blocking the send through of the individual items. Like, this could be rough. Like, we don't really have a piping system in Create, I don't believe, that can literally send the exact amount of items that are available for the slots needed without basically filling a buffer. Besides the frog ports. The frog ports are literally the only thing that do this. But like I said, to get them to work, you would need all of these individual factory gauges essentially checking how much is in here to refill it. Just in case you were wondering, I don't think I'm going to be refilling the frog that often. But this whole setup here makes this refilling super easy for me, as I don't have to purchase my own product. Oh, and looky there. So many diamonds have built up. This is one profitable shop. I tell you what, I've been at this for, I mean, a good 2 hours probably, if not more. Just constantly trying to go, what am I missing? Oh yeah, that requires the thing I just made a bunch of. Time to make a bunch more of those things. But once I have this thing in stock, I should not have to worry about this anymore. Like, most of the be good once I have an abundant supply, and since these hold like 256, I mean, it's gonna last a while, I think. I will tell you though, the more I craft this stuff, the more I realize I'm gonna have to go mining again, and I am getting very low on a lot of resources. For example, copper. Surprisingly, with as much as I've built with copper, I am basically out. So now I've got, for the most part, this thing nice and filled up with some of the primary things, especially the things that I have a ton of. I need to get some more hoppers and some andesite tunnels, even though I don't use andesite tunnels super often. But yeah, more crushing wheels are going to be something I'm going to have to automate soon. Looks like, yeah, I probably need some dispensers. That's just bows. I got a ton of the copper supplies, lots of the redstone components. I made sure to spend some time to get those all crafted up, and even more of the packages and all kinds of other goodies in here. So yeah, I think this truck is just about ready to take off. Now with all of that, I can live carefree. It's going to be so nice to be able to just go and go, I want to build this, blah, 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 place down this lovely tool mule, and be ready to go. Like, be ready to rock and roll just about anywhere. Like, this is the ultimate toolbox configuration. It is going to be so nice and so helpful when I go to make some other builds. Now, if you did happen to enjoy this setup, you learned something new, whether it was about toolboxes or what have you, be sure, guys, to click this subscribe button if you haven't already. And of course, join our community Discords. Discord.gg/ChosenArchitect is where you can find mine, and also linked down in the description below, you'll be able to find the Discord that is associated directly with the SMP, so you can have a chat about all of the SMP members over there. So be sure to check that out as well. Now, before I take my tool mule and ride off into the sunset, well, it's time to, well, thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that huge thanks is going to go out to Tant Zero. Thank you so much for your amazing support in choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and, of course, supporting me in one of the best ways possible. And guys, I hope you enjoyed the toolbox truck build, aka the truck mule, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one where we can start to utilize this thing and also finish up our train track, because that's definitely something that needs to be done as well. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. That's all of you who made it to the end of this episode. This week, as the time of this video recording, I am going on a little bit of vacation, taking my wife on a nice little trip because she did graduate college, and it is now time for me to say thanks to her for putting in all of the work and getting through it. So just a little bit of understanding in case you're wondering why this episode was so little in content. Anyways, Thanks again.